Matt Riddle's career is one of the most fascinating and turbulent stories in modern professional wrestling. A tale of immense talent, rapid success, and an equally swift downfall that does have a bright side at the back end. A former UFC fighter who transitioned into pro wrestling, Riddle brought a rare blend of athletic showmanship and a laid-back, undeniable charisma that instantly set him apart. His barefoot fighting style, easygoing bro persona, and natural in-ring skills made him one of WWE's most promising superstars, ever since his rise through the independent circuit and WWE NXT. However, his career trajectory was soon overshadowed by controversies outside of the ring. From public disputes and behavioral issues to allegations that strained his relationship with the company, Riddle's once promising run gradually unraveled. What began as a story of a unique athlete breaking the boundaries ended and continues as a cautionary tale, possibly about self-destruction, lost opportunities, and the harsh reality of fame within the industry. This is Sportskeeda Wrestling. What do you think of Matt Riddle's pro wrestling career? Let us know in the comments below. Hit the like button and let's get to it. He began competing in MMA in 2008, debuting on the reality show The Ultimate Fighter 7 and joining the UFC, where he amassed several decisive wins. But his MMA track was derailed in 2013 when he failed a marijuana test, marking his second failed test in under a year, resulting in his release from the UFC. After a period of reflection, Riddle turned towards professional wrestling. He trained at the Monster Factory in 2014 and made his pro wrestling debut in February 2015. On the independent circuit, he developed his skill and persona and became quite recognized by fans and critics as a breakout superstar. He was named Rookie of the Year and Most Improved in 2016 by the readers of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. His big break came when he signed with WWE in 2018 and joined the NXT brand. He established himself quickly in WWE NXT, debuting in October of 2018 by defeating Luke Menzies, later known as Ridge Holland, and then embarking on a brief rivalry with the knockout artist Cassius Ohno. This culminated in a match at NXT TakeOver War Games 2 in November, where he defeated Ohno in just 6 seconds, one of the fastest matches in NXT history. His NXT run saw him capture the NXT Tag Team Championships with Pete Dunne as the Broserweights, and then win the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic in 2020. Riddle's transition to WWE's main roster came in 2020, where he adopted the original bro gimmick, barefooted, laid-back, surfer-type character, but backed with legitimate wrestling and MMA credentials. He achieved several milestones. In February 2021, he captured the WWE United States Championship, and later teamed with Randy Orton in a very much odd couple team known simply as RK Bro, and they won the Raw Tag Team Championships twice. The climb seemed steady. His persona among fans was strong. His unique mix of athleticism, unorthodox persona, and authenticity resonated in an era where wrestling audiences appreciated crossover talents, but also demanded larger-than-life personalities. But as his momentum grew, trouble was quietly piling up behind the scenes. Around late 2022, reports began to emerge that Riddle had failed a drug test under WWE's wellness policy. In December of 2022, he was pulled off television and suspended for 60 days after a second failed drug test, though details were not initially public. In February of 2024, Riddle publicly revealed that the violations were related to cocaine use, stating that he had, quote, went to a strip club and did cocaine a couple of times. I failed a drug test for that, and that the company had kept the violations quiet. He described how he committed to a 30-day rehab stint, missed major holidays, and was asked for an additional 30 days, reflecting on the severity of the incident. Adding to the wellness policy violations, Riddle was involved in a highly publicized incident at New York's JFK Airport in September of 2023. After a whirlwind tour with WWE, including a one-day trip to India for WWE's Superstar Spectacle, he was suffering from an ear infection and reportedly had a few cocktails on board. He grabbed a microphone at the gate, joked about flight delays, and later accused a Port Authority officer of physical misconduct. He then explained that he felt overworked and that this was, quote, the perfect storm of travel, fatigue, and pain that had contributed to his behavior. On September 22nd, 2023, Riddle announced via social media that he was no longer with WWE, bringing his 5-year tenure with the company to an abrupt end. His release came amid an organizational shakeup with WWE's merger with UFC's parent company Endeavor and the introduction of the greater TKO umbrella company, and a roster reevaluation. While the failed tests and incidents might not have been officially cited as the reasons, they clearly played a role in his departure. He admitted in 2024 in an interview with Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour that, quote, "There were multiple variables that played into my departure. Plus, I failed a couple of drug tests. The writing for me, at least, was on the wall." From the outside, Riddle's arc shows a great promise, but is marred by self-inflicted issues. Riddle had the pedigree, the charisma, the crossover appeal, and championship titles to prove it. However, his downfall wasn't a sudden collapse. Instead, it was a slow decline in backstage trust, wellness compliance, and personal issues. A closer look shows how different factors led to his fall. First, his time in the ring. After the tag team success with Orton, injuries, especially Orton's back, and the shifting creative priorities slowed his rise. The RK Bro team stopped after Orton's injury in May of 2022, and Riddle's solo push ran into hurdles. He challenged Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Universal Championship in June of 2022, only to lose and be sidelined by a follow-up rematch while Reigns kept his title. These setbacks lined up with the beginning of his issues outside of the ring. Second, his life outside of the ring had other pressures. WWE's hectic schedule and massive travel demands took a toll on his family life, and it weighed on him heavily. In later interviews, Riddle admitted that though financially things were strong, personally, they were diminishing. His first marriage ended in March of 2022 after 11 years, and he said he was only home 1 full day a week during his WWE tenure most of the time. Third, the health and wellness framework within WWE. The wellness policy is strict, and repeated violations send a strong message. Riddle's positive tests, initially for marijuana in his UFC days, later for cocaine in WWE, undermined his reliability. It was all simply too much for him to stay in WWE under those circumstances. However, his WWE exit was not the end of his wrestling career. Riddle quickly moved on to other opportunities, debuting with New Japan Pro Wrestling and Major League Wrestling (MLW), capturing titles in both promotions and regaining a sense of freedom on the independent circuit, where he's also won championships with promotions like AAW. In short, Matt Riddle's rise was marked by athletic credentials, breakout charisma, championship wins, and crossover appeal. His downfall and setbacks was not a single specific moment, but a chain of internal and external issues: drug tests, wellness violations, tour fatigue, personal life strain, and a business environment that is changing beneath his feet. His bare feet. Today, his career continues in other promotions, but his WWE chapter remains a vivid study in both the possibilities and perils of modern-day, big-budget, blockbuster professional wrestling.